rollup. Okay. What is our challenge? Is basically our target groups are manufacturing companies. That means that we are focused on the manufacturing industry, which represents a very important part in the whole industry. Those companies are also generators of research and development, and they're basically a very important factor in gross domestic product in each economy. So while those companies basically has increased production capacities in low-cost economies, and they're also facing some challenges with increased level of sophistication in supply chains in high-cost economies, we are trying to find opportunities that we help somehow those companies in different regions where companies are also in different development stages. So that was the reason why we prepared this project, where we involve different kind of institutions in our consortium, and we try to somehow create a hub through which we can offer a lot of possibilities to open somehow different kind of services and support for production-oriented companies. So for this reason, the main objective is to improve the framework conditions for innovation in this area of smart factory, and we are mainly focused on 3 topics. That means we are trying to identify somehow solutions related to novel technologies. We are trying to identify some solutions related to improve production process, and somehow also to improve human resource management system. Because we all know that Industry 4.0 is more or less related to digitalization, and this somehow have usually negative effect also on human resource engagement. And that was the reason why we somehow trying to involve all those 3 aspects in our project. So what is our, we are calling innovative character. Basically the main outputs are transfer of, I would say, of integrated cross-sectoral support, where we would like to identify solution providers from different kind of regions, also from to cover those 3 topics which are described, and also to identify somehow companies who are searching that kind of solutions. And then in the second step, we also would like to prepare some recommendations for our policy level to improve kind of instrument which are in European countries known as a smart specialization strategies. So probably you know that the financial instrument, the following instruments in EU. So the next financial period will be much different than we have now. That means we will have probably more than 30% less money, and related to that, the whole also policy level would like to optimize some processes. So related to that, they are thinking to change somehow environment, how to support companies. They are thinking not to go too much directly to regional ministries, but they would like to have hubs who have different, who have, I would say, a lot of possibilities to support directly companies, not through policy level, because they have bad experiences, and that was the reason we were trying to somehow create that kind of a hub in appropriate time. So through this project we would like to first of all create kind of a voucher system. It will not be a typical voucher system which are implemented in many regions. We would like to create and test kind of a inter-regional cross-sectoral possibility of support, which will help mainly in transfer process, of technology transfer process, when some company would like to, let's say, test and buy some solutions which are coming from another country or region, because usually national ones are related only between the companies who are coming from the same regions. So from this point of view, we as an institution somehow integrated 11 projects similar that this is this Smart Factory Hub is. We somehow add additional 10 companies to this hub. And we develop different kind of tools who are basically available to all partners and to all companies which they would like to use that kind of tools and services. That means that we are covering 16 countries. So we didn't basically put this result just as a result of this project, but we somehow integrated other EU projects and upgraded this result, what was planned somehow within the Smart Factory Hub. That means that we are covering much bigger territory, and if we are covering much bigger territory, we are, let's say, in Brussels, much more important than if we would just cover, I don't know, one smaller region or maybe some smaller regions. So in this point of view, then we have much better opportunity to succeed as a follow-up initiatives in the future. So what kind of topics we are covering? Basically, we are covering different topics related to certification, lean manufacturing, technology transfer, product development, measuring effectiveness, and also to support startup companies. So here in this Smart Factory Hub, we are more or less related to this technology transfer, where we are trying to identify smart solutions related to Industry 4.0, and that we are trying to identify also companies who are searching that kind of solutions to improve them, to improve these processes. So this is, in short, what is the project topic and what is also the vision and I would say presentation of our institution as a group. Thank you very much.
Okay, so can we ask each partner from the consortium just to briefly present themselves, just for our companies to know with whom they are communicating? Please.
Hi, my name is Filipo. This is my boss, Anna Marinova. We are from ICT Cluster Bulgaria. We are a cluster initiative and we are operating with other ICT associations in Bulgaria. Also, we are one of the leading clusters in the network of ICT clusters, Balkan and Black Sea network. And we are one of the main actors to implement Industry 4.0 in Bulgaria. We're trying to bring the innovative solutions in Bulgarian SMEs and manufacturing enterprise.
So, hello everyone, I'm from Chamber of Commerce, Slovak Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Also here are my two colleagues, Mr. Juraj Knop and Mr. Pavel Vlašek. We have very similar, we are doing these similar activities as our colleagues from Serbian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. We are from International Cooperation Department, and in this time our main activity is promoting the smart manufacturing and between and other states. So thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Marek Bureš. I'm from the University of West Bohemia, from the Czech Republic. from the mechanical faculty. And basically, besides the education of the students, we are also highly involved in both practical projects for the companies and also research projects. All these fields usually are focused on production optimization, manufacturing, stuff which are connected to this industry portfolio.
Hello everybody, my name is Renata Csabai and she is my colleague Zsófia Kocsis. I'm from Hungary, from Panomavis Network Association. We are operating in West Hungary with the main goal to transfer the knowledge, what we gain through these European projects into the local businesses and entrepreneurs. We have now 20 running projects, not just in this Interreg Europe program, but also in other programs. And one of the most important topic for us is now the smart manufacturing and Industry 4.0. That's the reason why we opened half a year ago our spin-off company named AM Lab. It is about additive manufacturing and so on. So we are organizing their trainings for local SMEs to gain more knowledge about this topic and so on. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Verena Muskovic and my colleague Christian Weber here from Profactor in Austria. Profactor is a research institution. We are doing applied research in two fields. One is industrial assistive systems, so meaning robot human-robot interaction, for example, or quality control. And the other part is additive micro and nano manufacturing. There we are doing 3D printing or functionalization of surfaces. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Christian Brügger. I'm her colleague and I have nothing to add.
Hello, my name is Marco Kaiser. To my left is Jonathan Mario. We're from the University of Stuttgart in Germany. We're from the Institute for Human Factors and Technology Management. We closely collaborate with the Fraunhofer for IAO, that's the Institute for Industrial Design, or design and engineering basically. We are mainly doing research and consultancy in the area of technology management. We're collaborating with small and medium-sized businesses in Germany and nationwide, also international context. Yeah.
Looks like I'm the last. Hello everybody, my name is Ivana Šinčić. We are coming from Croatia. HAMA stands for Croatian Agency for SMEs, Innovations and Investments. We have three main sectors where we are in charge. First is financial instruments for SMEs. Second one is subsidies for SMEs. And third, not least, and I think most important, innovations. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I would ask our colleagues from companies to present their solutions. So the first is Sigma from Pula. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Alexander, and our project is about on-site electrolytical plant for production of water disinfectants. There are two kinds of technology depending on the water quality. First, about the company. Our company was established in 1989, so almost 30 years ago. But in 1996, we entered in water treatment business. This year, 1996, the first plant was installed in meat process industry in Drvas, and since then that plant still works. Now about the technology. Chlorogen plant is a plant for in situ production of 1% solution of sodium hypochlorite. That's the main disinfectant for water treatment, especially in water distribution system for public and in some sort of industries, especially in food industry and in field of health industry or hospitals. The The way the production is, it's electrochemical process of electrolyzation of saturated salt solution or base solution. There is several types of configuration of equipment depending on capacity. That one, it's skipped. Unfortunately, this one is empty. Okay. On this slide shows the comparison. What is the biggest benefits of our technology? The standard water disinfection systems are based on chlorine gas and industrial sodium hypochlorite. Chlorine gas is military poison. It's used during the First World War as a weapon. It's one of the most toxic and the most dangerous substances in the world. And that's the main reason why, especially in Europe, chlorine gas is forbidden or banned from water treatment. The second option is industrial sodium hypochlorite, or sodium hypochlorite produced in factories and then transferred to place of dosing. The problem with them, it's a concentrated chemical, as that it's relatively dangerous. It has a problem with making the corrosion of installations for water treatment plants, and during the time the concentration decreases. So the best alternative is producing of that disinfectant at the place of consumption in concentration that is absolutely safe and proclaimed not environmentally and dangerous for human health. This is the standard scheme of how technology works. It's absolutely automatic. It's not necessary for human operation. From blue tank takes the brain solution, mixing with the softened water in electrolyzer producing disinfectant. Disinfectant goes to yellow reservoir or tank, and from that tank automatic dosing systems dosing this chemical into the water. This is one standard unit. It's relatively small. Of course, it depends on capacity of the user. This is the view of hydro. This is the main part. That's the electrolyzer. Depending on capacity, we have electrolyzers from 0.5 kilogram per hour to 2 kilograms per hour production. We use cascade electrolyzers, so they are much easier to maintain. The main part of the electrolyzer are titanium anodes and cathodes. The input is 3% of standard salt solution, water solution. It's standard salt for human consumption. It's not require any special kind of salt. It's just regular salt for human consumption. Now, these are some schemes of the part. All tanks are with automatic sensors, so we can follow the process. The most part, for example, these pumps, 90% of all components are made by our company. We are absolutely mostly independent from suppliers. So, for example, these pumps are our products and we are making them for ourselves. This is the automatic and energy block. All the electronics and softwares are also made by our engineers. This is some explanation of how process works. Because it's automatic, we usually use GSM communications for remote control of the whole process. For example, for water companies, for example, City of Novi Sad, who use more than 11 of our devices from one point, from their control center. They can manage and control all devices in the region. Also, depending on clients' wish, we have our control center for monitoring and controlling of the devices. After the production of disinfectant, there are process of dosing. We produce generally two types of dosing systems, one controlled by flow and second one controlled by residual. Automatic dosing systems we developed to maximally decrease possibility of human error in dosing of chemical. Because in this moment in Serbia 1.1 million people receive water treated with our device. So we have to be sure that in any moment water will be in regulation of Ministry of Health. So there is no possibility of any kind of error that will harm to human life or health. The first one is dosing per flow. This kind of automatization we use in a case when we are sure of quality of water. That's usually after the treatment of water in water factories. And we dose, actually automatic dosing system, dose chemical only based on the flow, how much water flew through the pipe. The second one is based on residual. Residual is wanted level of the chlorine in the water, so there is no possibility of reinfection in the water system. This is one standard dosing. All dosing systems are made from one working pump and one backup pump. In case that working pump from some kind of error stops to work, reserve pumps automatically resume the process of dosing and disinfection. In dosing systems controlled by residual, this is the main measuring cell that follow the level of chlorine residual in the water. The second sort of production is producing of mixed disinfectant. Mixed disinfectant had been developed, let's say something like specially for Pannonian Basin. In this area of Hungary, Bulgaria, Serbia, Romania, Croatia, there is one typical problem of quality of water with organic matters. That's the matter that stay in underground water after the let's say decomposition of organic cells. The mixed disinfectant is combination of sodium hypochlorite and chlorine dioxide. The same kind of the first device, all the components and the chemicals are under the level of hazard. So there is no possibility of any kind of influence on ecosystem or human health. There you can see that based on EU regulation, most of the chemicals are marked as hazardous, but during the tests of our components, they are both marked as not dangerous. All of these devices have been developed with the help of university professors from City of Novi Sad, University of Novi Sad, Faculty of Chemistry, and Faculty of Technology and Metallurgy from Belgrade. There is one comparison of all possible kinds of water disinfection, and only the last column, mixed disinfectant, showing tendency or efficiency as comparing to others. Now the best, now you will see how it works in the practice. At this moment, over 120 devices are installed in Serbia in 218 locations in more than 100 municipalities. This is how it looks before. This is city of Sremska Mitrovica. On the left side there is 2 tons of chlorine gas. That's enough chlorine to kill possibly more than 100,000 people in less than an hour. They dropped their technology and start using our technology about 10 years ago. There is this is city of Smederevo. This is in Belgrade water company. This one is new factory in Smederevo. Vlasotince. This is Belgrade second location. Belgrade third location. This is one of the stations in city of Novi Sad, and this is one, for now, our biggest project. This is new water treatment plant in the city of Novi Sad. They use 8 kilograms per hour equipment. Before that they had 4 tons of chlorine gas in the city center. So because on the second side of the fence there was university, so they decided to not threaten the life of students. So they decided to ban chlorine gas and start. This is the control center, and from these computers they control all 11 devices in their system. Thank you for your attention. Do you have any questions?
Okay, thank you. Just a short remark that all your presentations will be recorded and eventually put public, if you agree with that, of course. Okay, so next presentation is from Vodena from Kragujevac.
Hello everybody. My name is Miril Krstic. I'm from company Vodena, and I will present to you our solution OSICE, optimization as a service in cloud environment. So first, what is optimization? Optimization is the process of adjusting product or process with the aim to improve its performance. And in some industries, it's extensively used for supply chain optimization, for transportation management, for price optimization for retailers, or designing a better product in terms of efficiency, energy consumption, etc. If you have a simple optimization problem like routing, for example, and that is probably the most frequent optimization problem, how to find the optimal route between point A and point B, or time scheduling problems, or simple structural optimizations, you have a lot of commercially available solutions. They are inexpensive, sometimes even free, and they can execute on a single personal computer. But what if you have a large-scale optimization problem? Let's say optimization of aerodynamics of a sports car or airplane, or optimization of power production on a large hydropower plant. Well, if you are a large company, it's easy. All that you need is a team of experts and high-performance computing resources. You need high-performance computing resources because this kind of optimization cannot be executed on a regular PC. You need a supercomputer or high-performance computer. And you also need a domain expert. That is a person who understands the problem and can model it. But you also need optimization expert. That's a person who is familiar with optimization methods, optimization algorithms. Then you need a parallel programming expert who can implement those optimization solutions on the distributed environment of HPC. But what if you are a SME, or a small research group, or a high-tech startup? You probably don't have resources for HPC equipment or for a team of experts. And then if you need a large-scale optimization, you have a problem. And this can be a solution. Optimization as a service in a cloud environment. So first, you don't need HPC resources because you already have them in the cloud. You don't need optimization expert, you don't need a parallel programming expert, because these things are already implemented in our service. All that you need is a domain expert or a person who can model the problem. So the main advantages are lower level of expertise required, no investment in hardware, automatic allocation of cloud computing resources, guaranteed data safety, as much as you can guarantee data safety on the cloud, and very important pay-per-use model. So that means that you will pay for optimization only when you use it, because you can use optimization only once. For example, in design phase of designing a new product. And this is the technology under our solution, and it was developed by our company Vodena and the Faculty of Science, University of Kragujevac. So how does it work? User addresses Yare service and define the optimization problem. Optimization goals, number of optimization parameters, type of optimization parameters, type or algorithm that will be used, and so on. But execution of optimization itself is left to a big framework. And that framework actually hides the complexity of optimization methods and the underlying computer infrastructure from the end user. And the main components of Volpino frameworks are Yare, that is evolutionary algorithms library, and WorkBinder, that is a component in charge of distributed execution of optimization algorithms. You can also monitor the optimization through web application Yare Manager, and you can also monitor the state of the hardware with Binder Manager. And we used this solution to develop a power production optimization tool for one of the largest hydropower plants in Europe. And based on hydrological forecast, expected energy prices, power production is optimized under the given physical, ecological, and legal constraints. However, this solution is universal, so you can use it in any area that you want. Today, several universities use OCC in their research. University of Sussex, they use it for the market risk management and portfolio optimization, that is financial industry. Tufts University uses it for estimation of parameters of muscle models, that is bioengineering. And University of St. Cyril and Methodius use it for in ICT, for configuring firewalls and routers. And something about our company, Vodena is an innovative ICT company, and it was established as a research spin-off from Faculty of Science in Kragujevac, that is University of Kragujevac. And it was founded in 2015 by Boban Stojanovic, PhD. He is a university professor with more than 20 years of experience in development of software solutions, both for academia and commercial usage. And the mission of our company is to transform university strength research into the state-of-the-art industrial software solutions. Thank you.
Now, my colleague Ivan Viševac will present two solutions from Autoblok Sava from Kragujevac and ICM Electronics.
Hello everybody, as you can hear, my name is Ivan Viševac. I'm coming from Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Serbia. Unfortunately, we have two companies that couldn't manage to come today, so I will very briefly represent their solutions, their ideas. They both have one thing in common. Their idea is to avoid time-consuming processes and to shorten the process in their production. So first company is Autoblok Sava. Autoblok Sava is a part of holding, Autoblok Holding, which has branches in over 50 countries all over the world. And the company operates in the field of prosthetics and orthopedic. One product solution that we are going to focus here is individual of personalized orthopedic insoles, which are made using new technologies, CAD/CAM technology. Instead of using the time-consuming methodology before, with molding, the idea here is to take a footprint in some kind of foam and to do 3D scanning of that print. Those data are inserted into the PC, into the computer, processed by computer, and after that the product is going in the production. As you can see, based on the many years of experience in the development of individual orthopedic insoles and with modern technology, now the Orthobox Sava are managed to shorten the time to shorten the time quite enough for the production of the individual orthopedic insoles. You can see the contact details of for how many days? Two more days. You can see that without their permission. But don't worry. If you want to contact them, you can do that through me, which I am the facilitator in this project, person who connects the companies, and this will be on our portal too. Can we go on another presentation? Another company is ICM Electronics. They are from Novi Sad, and they operate in areas of robotic and automation, especially offering to its clients the best solutions in areas of robotic packaging, palletizing, and welding. We are going to concentrate here on the robotic welding system, which is changed thanks to programming the robot to weld. Before, the traditional way of programming the robots was with the help of a console with which the robot had to learn how to move. That was very time consuming. If you have a small company where they don't have too many parts to weld, one operator could finish half job just during the time when the robot was supposed to be programmed. Now they are using software for 3D modeling of parts, which shortens the programming time of the robot from 7 hours to a few minutes. So this robot is suitable for companies that don't have so big series. What's the idea? You insert in software a 3D model of the part which has to be welded, and in a few clicks you just have to mark the places where weld should be applied, and the software automatically generates a program for robot. The operator only thing that he had to do later is just to insert a piece that should be welded on the working table and to load the previously generated program. Here are the contacts of the company, and hopefully we will have even their presentation in the future. Thank you.
And now company Ecolac DO from Rača.
Hello everyone, my name is Nikola. I come from the company Ecolac. We produce water-based coatings for wood, for protecting wood most importantly. And they don't have any unpleasant smells, and we have all health safety certificates. Our long tradition in beekeeping and producing wood coatings has led us to creating an innovation, which is thermal insulation coating. This thermal insulation coating is made out of small microspheres, which are filled with vacuum, and as you know, vacuum cannot transfer any heat, and that's why the coating is used as a thermal insulator. The thermal conductivity coefficient is 0.0016, which means that 1 millimeter of our coating is the same as 5 centimeters of thermal insulating styrofoam or 16 centimeters of wood. We use it mostly for protecting wooden beehives. We created a set, and the thermal insulation coating is the main component of the set. Because we apply only 1 millimeter of the coating on the hive, it doesn't change the size or the weight of the hive. It helps the bees keep the microclimate inside the hive. So, because the coating doesn't let any temperature come out or come in of the hive, it doesn't let any sudden temperature changes, which makes the life of the beehive longer, because wood won't crack, because wood usually cracks because of sudden temperature changes in summer or winter. So in winter, bees have to vibrate together so that they can heat up the hive. And that requires a lot of energy and a lot of food. So when you apply the coating on the hive, they need less energy for vibrating, so you need less food, so you can save more money, and you can also help the bees stay alive during the winter. Now, because they vibrate in the winter, they create steam because they're heating up the hive. So that steam condenses on the walls, because walls are usually colder and the steam is hot. And that can form, the steam condenses on the walls and creates mold, which can create diseases and let bees die later. So it creates a healthy environment for the bees, and they're more ready for spring. And in the summer, bees need to swing their wings inside the hive so that they can cool down the hive. And when it gets really, really hot inside the hive, more bees have to stay inside, and less bees can go out and collect pollen so that they can make honey. So with the product, less bees have to stay inside, more of them can go and collect pollen so they can produce more honey later. And they won't create beers like you can see on the picture. So the set contains the acrylic primer, which is the base coating before you put on the thermal insulation coating. It consists of Ecotherm, which is the thermal insulation coating, and 2 acrylic primers, which are basically colors that go after the coating, and a structural roller that you use to apply the coating. You can see a video that it's simple to apply, you can do it yourself. We also produce the same coating for interior walls of houses and homes, which uses the same principle just for houses, and it doesn't let any mold create in houses and homes. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Božo. I come from a small company which is rather young, only 25 years in the oil and gas industry. We think of ourselves as an innovative company, and we are registered as one. So what do we actually do? We do a lot of engineering, a lot of procurement, a lot of construction. Whenever we have a chance to do the management of those 3 processes, we are very happy, because we don't have to do anything but monitor the process. So what we have done in our project, I'm going to just briefly inform you about, was to sublime a lot of labor, a lot of poisonous material in very difficult area to access, and to provide something which is very safe, economic, and could be also applicable to different industries. My intention and goal, the reason I came here today, was actually to try to share this with, let's say, wider audience, and get a chance to meet someone who would be interested in developing our idea and applying it to, let's say, a more practical level. Since I'm not a technical person, I might say something which is not recognized by researchers, for example, or mechanical engineers, or colleagues from Kula. But our job was to provide a system which would automatically fill all the drills which usually are required in oil and gas companies drilling the soil. So, to begin with the process which is called completion, we needed to provide safe environment for whatever comes out of the drill. Whatever comes out of the drill usually is the reason for a cataclysmic scenario, which has happened in the era of dinosaurs and which is, as they say, looming again. So I'm talking about hydrocarbons, which are actually polluting. Now I'm getting the attention from the mechanical engineer. Hydrocarbons are, let's say, a very important produce and side produce in drilling. And to reduce the formation damage and to produce the productivity, we decided to react at the early stage. So the client requested something which would help them go quickly from one field to another field and have the same automated system providing a brine solution, which needed to be, let's say, adjustable to a soil formation at a certain depth. So our system is also a dosing system, but it had to involve a lot of different geological information from very difficult and various areas, usually inaccessible. What was new about this project? We decided to replace human labor, all shovels and all mechanical, let's say, trucks, caterpillars, whatever they use, to mix the solution manually. We decided to contain it, to close it, and to provide it to their specific needs. Once they finish with a certain field, they would need to pack it very quickly, very easily, transfer it to another field, and commission it again. To be quite honest, it was not so easy because we needed 3 long vehicles, 3 trucks to transport the system. The system is of a size of a half football field, or as we like to say in Serbia, to a more preferable sport, size of a basketball court. So we decided to introduce a system which will provide secure control over the whole system, not only to allow permeability, which is usually a reason for problems and ecological incidents. Completion fluid, as I said earlier, is something which is pumped, and it not only preserves the hole, it leaves it ready for another excavation. You should all know that back in the 70s, the forecast for, which was usually broadcast by, let's say, oil companies, was that we had only 20 more years of oil reserves. Back in 80s, 85, 88, we had another 30 years. Back in 95, we had another 50 years. These days, we have another 70 years of oil exploration and oil reserves. How do we achieve that? Does anybody know? We go deeper. We go deeper and we go back to the old, once used or how many times used, drills. So somebody smart decided to protect them. I don't know why they call us. Among the typical operations, well, this is very specific, and I don't want to go through these technical things because you're going to doze. I don't need that. Features which we think are innovative are automatic operation, easily integrated into existing plants, which was the requirement of the of the client. They also, and not only them, but the legislation was very important to fulfill the safety regulations. We were also asked to produce the pipeline construction and operation, not for the reason that we are so good, but they wanted us to be someone who would prove and validate work with adding this construction also as something which is a whole package. Environmental compliance was achieved by meeting the safety regulations, and it had to be user-friendly. So when we produce our user manuals, we also put the mark which says attention, do not forget your newspaper, because you won't be needing anything else. It's a simple, very simple and user-friendly operation which requires a push of a button. Well, also monitoring the whole HMI system, the information coming and applying a scenario which is available to the operator. What do we need from you? We decided to put some stress on the ecological factor. The environment is something which is heard often, and it's something which is downgraded in a way that nobody actually takes care of it. We wish to think that we have found something which could help on everyday basis in various situations. Living here in Serbia, you all know how important it is to have, let's say, safe roads during winter time. How do we achieve that? We sometimes see the trucks going around roundabouts all the time for the purposes of news report, and sometimes we see those trucks delivering salt or brine solutions to roads. Our companies taking care of our roads are actually wasting so much material. They are polluting so many rivers and wells, and they are also destroying the asphalt component in the tarmac surface by applying very hard, toxic, and expensive salts. There are 26 different variations of salts which could be applied in different situations. Our genius from road companies usually use the most expensive one, which provides stability and prevents frost up to -26. We believe that there is no need for that, because not very often we have -26. We usually have -5, -8, -10. All people from the region can also associate with that, especially people from, I don't know, Romania. So, what do we suggest? We suggest a combination of information compiled, received from the geological department of the National Weather Forecast Service, to the company mixing the solution for roads. Mixing process is contained. There is no pollution whatsoever. There is no contact with any of those salts which are not for human use. So, what do we need from you? We need someone who will actually point us to a right direction and say, yes, this is possible, your idea is achievable. And we need somebody to support us in terms of the development funds. As we have been told, there are only 2 vouchers available under this program, and they're going to be used for traveling. I don't see it necessary because we all have phones, Skype, Viber, whatever. So we can, maybe use that money in a different way. I hope I have actually given you some kind of a presentation which is not from A to Z, but a bit different because I'm from a different time. I'm not 4-0. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Informatica.
Good afternoon to everybody. The seventh presenter is Informatica from Belgrade. A long time ago in Serbia we had one TV commercial. I have only 10 seconds and I will speak very fast. Imam samo 10 sekundi, govorit ću vrlo brzo. I have much more time, 10 minutes to say something about Informatica. It will be a short introduction, and after that we will have one interesting movie about our laser measuring station. We're talking about technology, and we have some kind of problems. Okay. Okay, thank you. A few words about our company. We are an old company. We was established on 1976. The very same day, the April the 1st of 1976, as company Apple. But you must admit they are a larger company than we are. They have grew up in a much bigger company than we are. In our business, we rely on global partners such as Microsoft and Dell. We have projects with Siemens also. We are a system integrator covering different areas of IT business. IT infrastructure, business applications, IoT, industrial automation, etc. But we are a specific system integrator. We have different teams operating in various fields of IT business. Industrial automation, as I said, software business solution, and IoT solution, mostly based on Azure cloud. It is a Microsoft cloud platform. This model enables us to make integrated solutions which is similar to Industry 4.0 concept. Fully automated production with integrated software solutions, with devices connected via internet, and systems capable to extract relevant information from a large amount of data. We are not talking about big data concept, but of a large amount, of course. We made our own systems for industrial computing, PLC and SCADA systems. Every our solution is branded with prefix info. Info SCADA, info PLC, info ERP, InfoSnet. It applies only on solutions, not to employees, but I'm only there, I'm not info there. And we have implementations in various industries, such as energetics, electrical power industry, chemical and petrochemical industry, production, etc. We realized recently projects in Serbia, of course, Macedonia, Belarus, and Russian Federation. And here is one example of our solutions. It is InfoSCADA system. It's implemented in local power plant Kostolac, thermal power plant Kostolac, and it is used for management and control of chemical preparation of water. It is typical use of our special system. Is have a graphic visualization. It's simple to use. It's very intuitive, as you can see on that picture. And finally, here comes the movie, about 6 minutes. It's about our one of the most illustrative examples of solving complex problems in industry. It is a system for control and management of production of tire cloth or tire fabric or canvas. The system includes not only a continuous measuring of cloth thickness, but also other manufacturing factors such as tensile force, positioning of center of cloth. And as a tool, a laser is used, and it gives more precise results than manual measuring. It's obvious, of course. And at the same time, one of the most important benefits
It's our solution eliminated environmental hazards common with radioactive isotopes which was used before. And commercial fields.
Okay, thank you.
We have just one slide more. We must say this solution was developed in cooperation with scientists from the University of Belgrade, and it's implemented in Bobruisk, Belshina factory in Belarus, one of the largest manufacturers of tire cloth for big vehicles such as tractors, trucks, etc. Thank you for your patience. If you want to see more, there is a website, unfortunately only in Serbian and Russian language. We develop it in English, of course. Thank you once again.
Thank you. So our last solution provider for today is Yeti from Valjevo.
So, good afternoon everyone, my name is Marko Tanaskovic and I'll talk about a smart solution for logging working hours and doing analysis. We'll see later what that means. Yeah, so if you think of a working hour recording, so nowadays our lives are more flexible as well as working lives, so flexible working hours have become a standard, but usually then you are somehow required to record your working hours. You either do it on your own responsibility or there are different systems in large companies and factories how you do it. So before people did it in paper, this is a typical way people did it, stamping time. And if you think about it, what has changed from this time? Actually, it improved a lot from the point of the company, because now they don't have to analyze manually by hand all these papers, everything is electronic. But from the point of the workers, thing is the same. They have to come to a station, they now don't do it on paper, they have a tag or a card, and they basically have to tag themselves. So often they have to wait, or if they forget their tag or their card, then they have to report it manually. Another thing is the abuse of the system. Of course, you can leave your tag to someone else to tag you later and things like this. So basically, from the point of view of what happened from the time when we had the card, a system of time reporting, to what we now have RFID tags or scanner cards. It has changed, but for the workers, the thing they have to do is still the same. So what the solution that we propose is based on not using the tags or cards, but using something that every one of you has in their pockets. And this is a smartphone or a mobile phone with a Wi-Fi. And here is how the device looks like. It's basically, we can say it's a smart router. It's a Wi-Fi provider with a smart functionality in it. It basically creates a database of mobile phone MAC addresses or of the mobile phone owners when they enter the Wi-Fi, when they're exited. And there is an application, server application, you can access it, and basically you can generate all kinds of statistics when someone was at work, when he was not, when he was present or not. So you can come and go many times. You don't have to remember to stand. Also, basically no action is required from the workers. Workers just have to have their mobile phones switched on in their pockets or wherever they keep it, and they can just come and go. Also, basically the possibility for manipulation is reduced because the probability that you leave your mobile phone to someone else is much less than you leave just a card or an ID tag. And so this is how the prototype looks like. It's a small box where you can just put the power and the Ethernet. So when you put Ethernet, you can have also Internet, or it can be just Wi-Fi without the Internet. So it leads to significant cost reduction because there's no need for special cards and badges, because the most price of the system is the cards and badges. You have 100 workers, then you need hundreds of cards and badges, and they get lost and they have to be replaced and so on. No action required from the employees. There's no way they can forget to staple, basically. What is interesting, the employees can also have a benefit, and this is in basically extending the system and using it for analysis. So what you can do, this is a ground plan of a factory building. So basically you can place the devices in several places, and you can tune the range of the Wi-Fi. So you can split your premises into zones, and basically the same Wi-Fi is in all the zones. And the workers are normally functioning in all the zones, but then you have a central router where you can get the statistics of how much time your workers spend in which zone. So you can use it to do analysis, first of all, to figure out if your workers are just losing time because something is not efficiently ordered, or if someone is spending much more time in a zone he should not be spending, if there are some safety regulations are breached, and so on and so on. So basically the things you can do are limitless. So what we offer is a system of connected devices with a central router and tools to do statistics. Of course, one application area are of course smart factories and other things, but it can be also extended to other areas of life. So for example, there are a lot of people coming from education, so we will now make a case study for a small university where we want to use it also to control or to monitor the lecturing process, because if you have it in each classroom, then you can know if the lecturers are coming on time, if they are really doing 45 minutes of lecture, how many students actually come to each lecture, do they leave after the first class, after the second class, when do they come and when do they leave. So these are all possibilities, and it's a fully automated system which then allows to do a lot of statistics. So this is our timeline. So now we have a prototype. We start to deploy in several test cases where we'll generate the first data and see all these benefits come to reality. And then until the October we should have extensive facility testing. By the end of the year we should have the 0 series, and then the sales and deployment should start from the beginning of the next year, end of this year. Okay, that's all I had to say. If you have any questions.
There is a question.
I have one question about the range of your device.
You can basically somehow tune it. Okay, so there is a version with an antenna, so we can extend the range. And for us, it's important to also be able to make a small range. So let's say if you want a very small room to control, so that we have the possibility to tune our range. So we can reduce it or we can increase it. When the range is not enough, we simply put 2 devices and we consider it one zone. So the zones are fully configurable.
And maximum for one device?
Sorry, the range.
Maximum range for one device.
So let's say we can so it depends, of course. Indoors, right? We are talking about indoor conditions and so on. So let's say if we have one large room of, let's say 200. So I'm talking about large spaces which are open spaces. So something like 200 square meters we can cover with a single device. Of course, when there are walls, it reduces. It depends on the geometry and so on. But when you have complex geometry, you can place in various places and then consider it a single zone. Thank you.
More questions? Well, we are coming to the end of today's session. I would like to thank you all the companies that came today, because your inputs are precious for us and for the future realization of the project. As Mr. Boža asked or proposed during his presentation, there are certain things that we can do through the project or to support you through the project. And this information you already got from my colleagues during the preparation of this meeting, but basically your presentations and today's talks will be recorded, will be presented during the different road shows and different occasions within the region. So other partners from our partnering institutions will present your solutions to possible users. Also, your contacts and your products will be presented on the platform that is specially designed within the project. You will be contacted by our facilitators who will input your data in this platform. And of course, the third thing that Mr. Boža mentioned are the vouchers that we are preparing for companies and for the solutions that you are offering, but also except the solutions, you need to have the user from one of the countries in the region. So if you have any contacts with some companies abroad that would like to use your solutions, or that you are negotiating with to use your solutions, let us know, and then we will see how can we fit within the project your proposal. So let's stay in contact, and if you have any other ideas or how you can we can support you or you can support us, just let us know. Thank you.